All emotions exist on a scale that ranges from despair, depression, fear, and hatred on one end, to joy, exaltation, ecstasy, and love on the other. The entirety and awareness of this spectrum comprises what is known to many as our emotional intelligence. Our bodies possess a certain genetic and biological intelligence, guiding the functions of our physical selves with little to no help from us. Our emotions comprise a subtle bridge between that aspect of our nature and our psychological, spiritual selves. This bridge is often referred to as a gut feeling. Misunderstood by most, the purpose of emotional intelligence is to guide us in life, to help us perceive, control, and evaluate our emotions, and recognize our gut feelings, sometimes against all logic. Unlike the guidance offered by our biological intelligence, our emotional guidance system is profoundly interactive. Our emotions offer continuous cues, provided we are conscious, as to how best proceed in any given situation. But we must respond to these cues as early as possible to most benefit from them. For this guidance system to be of the greatest help, you must first become more aware of your emotions. Awareness that is preemptive of when emotions become so intense that they dictate and take control of your behavior. The ability to pick up on emotions in their earlier, more subtle stages of appearance is a mastery. It takes practice, introspection, and self-awareness. Becoming your own self-observer is not easy, but it is possible. The more aware you become of what triggers you, the better you become in corresponding appropriately, no matter the situation. On the surface, this seems easy to do, but from a very early age, most of us have been trained away from our emotional guidance, to the extent that as adults, we have difficulties recognizing our emotions at their earliest, most subtle stages. Who among us does not recall a parent or some other well-meaning adult saying such things to us when we were children as, "Oh, stop crying," or "That's enough now," or "It's time to grow up," when we would display our pain or sense of injustice to an excessive extent. Over time, we learned to toughen up. Thus, as we grew into adults, we learned to ignore and suppress our emotions, specifically those deemed less appropriate, such as anger, frustration, or sadness. In time, this repression extends to our even more acceptable emotions, such as empathy, joy, and love. Yet, eventually, all denied emotion speaks so loudly we are unable to ignore it any longer. Here are a couple ways to reclaim your emotional guidance system, your emotional intelligence, and gain awareness to realize your emotions earlier, before they become painful, extreme, or overwhelming, or to better deal with them once they do. Realize that your thoughts precede your emotions. If you pay close enough attention, you will be able to feel the result of your thoughts. Think of a happy or pleasant circumstance, or maybe a person that you really like, and notice the feeling that follows. This holds true for unhappy thoughts as well. The point is to practice noticing the feelings that result from your thoughts. In doing so, you will become more able to alter certain trains of thought before they gain enough momentum to carry you away into unwanted experiences. Sometimes we have feelings that are not triggered by our thoughts. That is our gut feeling, intuition that is speaking to us. Often, we don't know how to rationalize it. However, the most important thing is to acknowledge it and see if you can sit with that feeling without trying to attach any thoughts or judgment to it. Honoring the messages that reach us, even when we don't understand them well, will elevate your consciousness and expand your emotional intelligence. Investigate your emotional state. What is one reason we spiral emotionally? We begin to feel overwhelmed, followed by a sense of powerlessness. You can break that cycle and take control. One way to get ahead of becoming overwhelmed is to investigate the reasoning behind the building emotion. For example, if you're feeling an anxiety attack coming on, get ahead of it by writing down the reasons behind your anxiety. By doing this, you bring your anxiety down to size by breaking it up into categories and exploring potential solutions to each, instead of falling off an endless cliff of self-loathing and guilt. You can create a map to gain control of the situation, reasonably respond to it, and free yourself from an emotional storm. Emotions are like muscles. They need to be consistently worked out to stay strong and flexible. Remember, you are in control, not your emotions or thoughts. Spend time on recognizing, investigating, and handling your emotions and thoughts. The more you become aware of yourself, the more you'll be prepared to handle common or surprising events. Allow it to be okay when an emotion does carry you into a painful place. Once an emotion gains enough momentum as a result from a circumstance or experience that you are presently living through, it is best to allow these emotions to exist, which is natural, and then be okay with that experience. Remember that every painful experience creates space for growth, where you become aware of your likes and dislikes, where your strength appears and shows you, if you give it a chance, that you are stronger than you think. The morning is always wiser than the evening, said a Bulgarian guru, Simeon Simonov. Placing your worries on the shelf of worries, at least until the next day, and getting a good night's sleep can help you look at things from a place of calmness. Calmness always helps when accessing the depth of your emotions, their impact on your overall health, and the decisions that you want to make. A few deep breaths are the key to slowing down. If you prefer to count sheep, that's fine as well. The elderly say it helps. Take a deep breath. Let's try. "99 sheep, 98 sheep, 97 sheep, 96 sheep." Close your eyes. Everything is going to be okay.